On a spring morning in 1999, the unthinkable happened. Jill Dando, a beloved BBC television presenter, was murdered on her doorstep. The news sent shockwaves across Britain. Dando wasn't just a celebrity, she was a cherished figure, a household name. Her work on popular programs like Crime Watch had earned her the trust and admiration of the public. The brutality of Dando's murder only amplified the sense of shock and disbelief. Shot in broad daylight, her death felt like a violation of something sacred. Flowers, cards, and messages of condolence poured in, transforming Gowan Avenue into a makeshift memorial. The outpouring of grief was a testament to Dando's impact. Jill Dando's murder wasn't just a crime, it was a national tragedy. Jill Dando's journey to becoming a household name was one of dedication and talent. Born in Weston-super-Mare in 1961, she began her career as a journalist. Her natural charisma and genuine warmth shone through, captivating audiences. Dando's breakthrough came with her role as a presenter on BBC News. She possessed a rare ability to connect with audiences, conveying even the most complex news stories with clarity and empathy. But it was her work on Crime Watch that truly cemented her place in the hearts of the British public. Alongside veteran broadcaster Nick Ross, Dando helped bring countless criminals to justice. Her compassion and dedication to seeking justice resonated deeply with audiences. Dando's influence extended beyond her television work. She was a dedicated supporter of various charities, using her platform to champion causes close to her heart. At the time of her death, Jill Dando was at the pinnacle of her career. Her professional life was flourishing, and she was deeply in love, engaged to be married to gynecologist Alan Farthing. Dando had so much to look forward to, a future brimming with promise and happiness. The circumstances surrounding her death were as shocking as they were perplexing. Dando was shot once in the head at close range as she arrived at her home on the morning of April 26, 1999. The brazen nature of the attack, carried out in broad daylight, sent chills down the spines of even the most hardened detectives. The investigation into Dando's murder was one of the largest and most complex in British history. The Metropolitan Police, determined to bring her killer to justice, spared no effort in their pursuit of the truth. The lack of a clear motive only deepened the mystery. Why would anyone want to harm Jill Dando, a beloved figure known for her kindness and compassion? The morning of April 26, 1999 dawned like any other spring day in Fulham. For Jill Dando, it was a day filled with errands and preparations for her upcoming wedding. She had spent the night at her fiancé Alan Farthing's apartment in Chiswick, West London. After a leisurely breakfast, she left around 10:30 a.m. to run errands. Security camera footage captured Jill's final movements, showing her driving her BMW convertible through the streets of Fulham. She appeared relaxed and happy, completely unaware of the horrific fate that awaited her. At approximately 11:30 a.m., Jill arrived back at her home on Gowan Avenue. She parked her car on the street just a few feet from her front door and retrieved her shopping bags. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and the residents of Gowan Avenue went about their daily routines. It was a two-story Victorian terraced house, painted in a cheerful shade of white. Jill Dando's journey to becoming one of Britain's most beloved television personalities began in the seaside town of Weston-super-Mare. Born on November 9, 1961, Jill was the daughter of a local newspaper editor. Growing up in a close-knit family, Jill's warm and approachable nature was evident from the start. Educated at a local comprehensive school, Jill's passion for journalism blossomed early. She eagerly absorbed her father's knowledge of the newspaper trade, spending hours in the newsroom. At 18, Jill's dedication to her craft led her to the journalism program at the then-named Bristol Polytechnic. Her natural talent and infectious enthusiasm shone through, impressing both her tutors and fellow students. Jill's time at Bristol Polytechnic honed her journalistic skills and solidified her determination to pursue a career in media. Upon graduating, Jill wasted no time in pursuing her dream. She landed her first job as a reporter for her local newspaper, the Western Mercury. Jill Dando's talent and dedication did not go unnoticed. In 1985, she joined the BBC as a newsreader for Radio Devon. Her warm delivery and sharp instincts won over listeners. In 1988, she became a presenter on BBC South West's Spotlight. By 1990, Jill was presenting on the BBC's national news programmes. Jill Dando's arrival on national television was met with widespread acclaim. Viewers instantly warmed to her friendly demeanour, her infectious smile, and her ability to convey even the most complex news stories with clarity and understanding. Her role as a presenter on flagship programmes like the 6 o'clock news and breakfast news cemented her status as a household name. Millions tuned in each day to watch Jill deliver the news with her trademark warmth and professionalism. She became a trusted source of information, a reassuring presence in an often chaotic world, but it was Jill's compassionate side, her genuine desire to help others, that truly resonated with the British public. In 1995, she took on the role of co-presenter of Crime Watch, the BBC's groundbreaking crime appeal programme. Alongside veteran broadcaster Nick Ross, Jill used her platform to help solve real-life crimes, appealing directly to viewers for information and offering a voice to victims. Jill's involvement in Crime Watch transformed the programme into a national institution. Her empathy for victims and their families shone through, as did her unwavering commitment to seeking justice. By the late 1990s, Jill Dando was at the pinnacle of her career. She was one of the most recognisable and beloved faces on British television, an award-winning journalist and a respected public figure. Her professional life was thriving, and her personal life was filled with joy and anticipation. In 1997, Jill met gynecologist Alan Farthing, and the pair quickly fell deeply in love. Their relationship was a source of immense happiness for Jill. Their engagement in 1999 was met with widespread delight from both the public and Jill's colleagues. Jill and Alan's wedding was planned for later that year, and the excitement surrounding their upcoming nuptials was palpable. Jill was on top of the world, her professional life soaring, her personal life filled with love and the promise of a happy future. Tragically, Jill Dando's life, so full of promise and potential, was cut brutally short. Her murder on that fateful April morning sent shockwaves through the nation, leaving an unfillable void in the hearts of those who knew and loved her. The morning of April 26, 1999, dawned like any other spring day in Fulham. For Jill Dando, it was a day filled with errands and preparations for her upcoming wedding. She had spent the night at her fiancé, Alan Farthing's apartment in Chiswick, West London. After a leisurely breakfast, she left around 10:30 a.m. to run errands. Security camera footage captured Jill's final movements, showing her driving her BMW convertible through the streets of Fulham. She appeared relaxed and happy, completely unaware of the horrific fate that awaited her. At approximately 11:30 a.m., Jill arrived back at her home on Gowan Avenue. It was a two-storey Victorian terraced house painted in a cheerful shade of white. She parked her car on the street just a few feet from her front door and retrieved her shopping bags. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and the residents of Gowan Avenue went about their daily routines. As Jill approached her front door, she was caught off guard by her attacker. The assailant, lying in wait, grabbed her from behind, forcing her to the ground. A single shot rang out, but the sound was muffled, barely audible to those nearby. The use of a silencer, a chillingly professional detail, ensured that the gunshot would not attract immediate attention. It was a calculated move designed to silence Jill and prevent any cries for help. Neighbours later reported hearing a scream, a brief, blood-curdling sound that was quickly cut short. It was the sound of Jill's final moments, a desperate cry for help that went unanswered. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving Jill no time to defend herself. The assailant, his deadly task complete, disappeared as quickly as he had arrived. Minutes after the attack, a neighbor, returning home from a morning walk, stumbled upon Jill's lifeless body lying on her doorstep. She was slumped against the front door, her shopping bags scattered around her. Horrified, the neighbor immediately dialed 999, desperately hoping that Jill was still alive. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but it was too late. Jill Dando, beloved television presenter, was pronounced dead at the scene. News of Jill's murder spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves through the quiet community of Fulham and beyond. As police cordoned off the crime scene, a sense of disbelief and horror settled over the neighborhood. The image of Jill's lifeless body on her doorstep, a place that should have been a sanctuary, became seared into the nation's consciousness. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the random nature of violence. Forensic investigators meticulously combed through the crime scene, searching for any shred of evidence that could lead them to Jill's killer. Their attention quickly focused on the murder weapon, a crucial piece of the puzzle. The type of gun used in the attack was identified as a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. This detail, while helpful, did little to narrow down the search. 9mm pistols are unfortunately common weapons, used in countless crimes each year. The use of a silencer indicated a degree of planning and premeditation. It suggested that the killer was not a random opportunist, but someone who had carefully considered their actions and taken steps to avoid detection. The silencer itself was never recovered, further hampering the investigation. It was a crucial piece of evidence that could have potentially linked the killer to the crime. Despite the best efforts of the Metropolitan Police, the crime scene at Gowan Avenue yielded frustratingly little forensic evidence. The killer had been meticulous, leaving behind no fingerprints, DNA, or any other trace of their identity. The lack of evidence was particularly baffling given the brazen nature of the attack. It suggested that the killer was either incredibly lucky or highly skilled in the art of covering their tracks. The absence of a clear motive only deepened the mystery surrounding Jill's murder. Why would anyone want to harm a beloved television presenter, known for her kindness and compassion? It was a question that haunted investigators and the public alike. The lack of evidence, combined with the absence of a clear motive, created a perfect storm of uncertainty. The investigation, while extensive, was hampered from the outset by the lack of concrete leads. The murder of Jill Dando sent shockwaves through British society, a nation unaccustomed to such brazen violence against a beloved public figure. The public outcry was immediate and immense, a collective demand for justice for the slain television presenter. The pressure on the Metropolitan Police to solve the case was enormous, fueled by a potent mix of public grief, anger and fear. The investigation, codenamed Operation Oxborough, was one of the largest and most complex in British criminal history. More than 2,500 individuals were interviewed and over 10,000 potential leads were pursued. Detectives worked tirelessly, following every thread, no matter how small, determined to bring Jill's killer to justice. The press, both national and international, descended upon Gowan Avenue, their cameras capturing every twist and turn of the investigation. Jill's murder became a constant fixture in the news cycle, a morbid fascination for some, a painful reminder of a senseless tragedy for others. The police, acutely aware of the public scrutiny, maintained a steady stream of press conferences, appealing for information and assuring the public that no stone would be left unturned in their pursuit of the truth. The investigation, however, was hampered from the outset by a lack of concrete evidence, a frustrating reality that only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. The murder of Jill Dando sent shockwaves through British society, a nation unaccustomed to such brazen violence against a beloved public figure. The public outcry was immediate and immense, a collective demand for justice for the slain television presenter. The pressure on the Metropolitan Police to solve the case was enormous, fueled by a potent mix of public grief, anger and fear. The investigation, codenamed Operation Oxborough, was one of the largest and most complex in British criminal history. More than 2,500 individuals were interviewed and over 10,000 potential leads were pursued. Detectives worked tirelessly, following every thread, no matter how small, determined to bring Jill's killer to justice. The press, both national and international, descended upon Gowan Avenue, their cameras capturing every twist and turn of the investigation. Jill's murder became a constant fixture in the news cycle, a morbid fascination for some, a painful reminder of a senseless tragedy for others. The police, acutely aware of the public scrutiny, maintained a steady stream of press conferences, appealing for information and assuring the public that no stone would be left unturned in their pursuit of the truth. The investigation, however, was hampered from the outset by a lack of concrete evidence, a frustrating reality that only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. The murder of Jill Dando sent shockwaves through British society, a nation unaccustomed to such brazen violence against a beloved public figure. The public outcry was immediate and immense, a collective demand for justice for the slain television presenter. The pressure on the Metropolitan Police to solve the case was enormous, fueled by a potent mix of public grief, anger and fear. The investigation, codenamed Operation Oxborough, was one of the largest and most complex in British criminal history. More than 2,500 individuals were interviewed and over 10,000 potential leads were pursued. Detectives worked tirelessly, following every thread, no matter how small, determined to bring Jill's killer to justice. The press, both national and international, descended upon Gowan Avenue, their cameras capturing every twist and turn of the investigation. Jill's murder became a constant fixture in the news cycle, a morbid fascination for some, a painful reminder of a senseless tragedy for others. The police, acutely aware of the public scrutiny, maintained a steady stream of press conferences, appealing for information and assuring the public that no stone would be left unturned in their pursuit of the truth. The investigation, however, was hampered from the outset by a lack of concrete evidence, a frustrating reality that only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. The lack of forensic evidence left investigators grappling for leads. The meticulous attack left few clues, pointing to a carefully planned murder. The investigation relied on witness statements and circumstantial evidence. A tiny particle of gunshot residue in Barry George's jacket became crucial. This, along with his proximity and erratic behavior, placed him in the crosshairs. Police explored Jill's professional life, reviewing Crime Watch episodes and correspondence. Could her work have made her a target for revenge? The theory yielded no concrete leads. Months turned into a year, adding pressure on the police. The public grew increasingly impatient with the lack of progress. In May 2000, almost a year after Jill Dando's murder, the investigation appeared to take a significant turn. Barry George, the local man whose jacket yielded the microscopic particle of gunshot residue, was arrested and charged with Jill's murder. The news, met with a mixture of relief and skepticism, dominated headlines, reigniting public interest in the case. The prosecution's case against George was largely circumstantial, relying heavily on the gunshot residue evidence, his history of mental instability, and his documented interest in firearms and celebrities. The prosecution argued that George, fixated on Jill's celebrity status, had stalked her and ultimately taken her life in a twisted act of obsession. George, however, vehemently maintained his innocence throughout the trial, claiming he had never met Jill Dando and had no involvement in her murder. His defense team argued that the gunshot residue evidence was unreliable and that the prosecution had failed to establish a clear motive or provide any concrete evidence linking George to the crime. The trial of Barry George became a media spectacle, captivating the nation and sparking fierce debates about the reliability of forensic evidence, the presumption of innocence, and the pressure on the police to secure a conviction in a high-profile case. The prosecution presented its case, meticulously laying out the circumstantial evidence against George, painting a picture of a troubled individual capable of violence. The defense, in turn, relentlessly challenged the prosecution's narrative, highlighting inconsistencies in witness statements, questioning the significance of the gunshot residue evidence, and arguing that the police, under immense pressure to solve the case, had unfairly targeted George, a vulnerable individual with a history of mental health issues. The jury, tasked with sifting through the complex web of evidence and testimony, faced an unenviable task. The weight of public expectation, the tragic nature of the crime, and the lack of a clear-cut narrative created a pressure cooker atmosphere within the courtroom. The world watched and waited, eager for a resolution to a case that had captivated and divided the nation. In July 2001, Barry George was convicted of Jill Dando's murder. He maintained his innocence and launched appeals. In 2007, the Court of Appeal ordered a retrial. The prosecution's case was significantly weakened. The retrial offered a chance for the truth to emerge. The retrial of Barry George in 2008 was pivotal. The prosecution struggled without the gunshot residue evidence. The defense highlighted inconsistencies and lack of concrete evidence. The jury's unanimous verdict, not guilty. Barry George was freed after 8 years. The verdict didn't ease Jill Dando's family's pain. Jill Dando's murder became a cold case. The investigation was scaled back. The case highlighted the complexities of the justice system. The chilling precision of Jill Dando's murder, executed with a single, silenced gunshot in broad daylight, suggests a professional hit. Was it a professional assassin, contracted to silence the beloved television presenter? The answer remains shrouded in mystery. Some speculate her work on Crime Watch made her a target. Did she uncover a secret too dangerous to reveal? The professional hit theory casts a long shadow over the case. Investigators explored a chilling theory linking Jill Dando's murder to the Kosovo conflict, suggesting her BBC appeal for refugees made her a target. Jill's heartfelt appeals raised millions, but may have angered Serbian extremists. Could her compassion have led to her assassination? The theory, though unproven, highlighted the far-reaching impact of war. Jill Dando's work on Crime Watch made her a household name, synonymous with justice and compassion. Her dedication to exposing criminal activity may have made her a target. Could her work have signed her death warrant, marking her as a threat to be eliminated? The Crime Watch curse theory gained traction after her murder, a chilling reminder of the risks in confronting criminality. Section 4, The Shadow of Obsession, Fixated Fans and Fatal Attractions. Jill Dando's warmth and genuine connection made her beloved, but also attracted obsessive fans. Some fans' admiration turned into dangerous obsession, blurring reality and fantasy. The obsessive fan theory suggests Jill's murder was a stalker's tragic act. This theory highlights the dark side of fame and the vulnerability of public figures. Section 1, The Case Reopened, A Glimmer of Hope. Despite the passage of time, Jill Dando's murder still haunts British society, a chilling reminder of a crime that shocked a nation. Advances in forensic technology have breathed new life into the investigation, offering hope that justice may not be forever elusive. DNA analysis, significantly more sophisticated now, re-examines every piece of evidence, searching for a microscopic link to the perpetrator. The renewed investigation, fueled by technological advancements and unwavering determination, offers a glimmer of hope. Section 2, The Power of Public Interest, Keeping the Story Alive. The murder of Jill Dando gripped the nation and continues to resonate deeply with the British public. Her warm smile and dedication endeared her to millions, making her a beloved figure. The enduring public interest in her case has kept her story alive, fueling speculation and maintaining pressure on law enforcement. Documentaries, podcasts, and books have revisited the case, exploring various theories and interviewing individuals connected to the investigation. These efforts have kept Jill Dando's name in the public consciousness, ensuring her story is not forgotten. The public, captivated by the mystery, has played an active role in the case, offering tips and sharing theories. This collective desire for answers has created a network of amateur sleuths determined to see justice served. Their dedication serves as a powerful reminder of the collective desire for answers and the belief that even cold cases can be solved. The power of public interest has played a crucial role in keeping the case alive. The constant scrutiny and demand for answers have ensured that the murder of Jill Dando remains etched in the public consciousness. A tragic reminder of a life cut short, and a mystery that continues to captivate and confound. Section 3, Uncharted Territory. New theories emerge from the shadows. New theories challenge established narratives, re-examining old evidence and introducing new players. One theory suggests a case of mistaken identity, another whispers of a cover-up to protect powerful interests. Was Jill Dando mistaken for someone else, or was she silenced to prevent a scandalous truth from emerging? These theories, though speculative, highlight the enduring mystery and complexity of her murder. Section 4, a legacy of unanswered questions. The search for truth continues. More than 2 decades have passed since the tragic death of Jill Dando, yet her case remains unsolved. The investigation continues, driven by the hope that one day the truth will emerge from the shadows. Her case serves as a reminder that justice, while sometimes delayed, is never truly out of reach. Section 1, a nation scarred, the enduring impact of loss and fear. The murder of Jill Dando sent shockwaves through British society. The outpouring of grief and disbelief left an indelible mark on the national psyche. The image of a safe Britain shattered on that sunny April morning. Dando represented more than a television personality. She embodied community and trust. Her murder left many feeling vulnerable and exposed. The fear was palpable, especially among women. The streets took on a new sense of foreboding. Routine and predictability were tainted by the realization of lurking danger. Dando's murder sparked a national conversation about fame and safety. It raised questions about media responsibility and the balance between public interest and privacy. Honoring a legacy, tributes and remembrances. Jill Dando's tragic death brought an overwhelming outpouring of grief and affection. Flowers, letters and messages transformed the street into a makeshift memorial. The nation mourned collectively for a woman who touched many lives. Tributes to Dando included formal memorials and events. The Jill Dando Institute of Crime Science at UCL symbolizes her legacy. Numerous scholarships and charitable initiatives honor her name. These initiatives continue to inspire and empower future generations. The price of fame. Re-evaluating security and privacy. The murder of Jill Dando sent shockwaves through media and entertainment, forcing a reassessment of the risks associated with fame. The illusion of safety was shattered, revealing the vulnerability of public figures. Security measures for television personalities were immediately heightened. The days of freely interacting with the public were over. Security consultants were brought in, and personal security details became commonplace. The murder of Jill Dando served as a stark reminder that fame comes at a price. The unsolved murder of Jill Dando casts a long shadow over British society, highlighting the limitations of the justice system and the pain of unanswered questions. The case has prompted reforms in law enforcement, public policy and forensic science, driven by the desire to prevent such tragedies. The investigation exposed both strengths and weaknesses in the criminal justice system. Barry George's wrongful imprisonment highlighted the dangers of tunnel vision and the need for safeguards. The case led to reforms in forensic evidence and investigative procedures. It sparked a national conversation about gun control and personal safety. Jill Dando's murder resonated deeply, fueling calls for stricter gun laws and community policing. The case remains a source of pain, but also a catalyst for change. It serves as a reminder of the importance of justice and the need to prevent violence. The murder of Jill Dando remains one of the most baffling unsolved crimes in British history. Despite a massive investigation and countless hours of speculation, key questions remain unanswered. Who pulled the trigger that silenced Jill Dando's laughter and bright smile? What motivated this brutal act? Retribution, vendetta, mistaken identity, or something else? And why, despite advancements in forensic technology, has this case remained unsolved? The lack of answers continues to haunt Jill Dando's family, friends, and admirers. The suddenness, brutality, and mystery of her death have left a void, a sense of unfinished business. Despite the lack of a conviction, the pursuit of justice for Jill Dando continues. Advances in forensic technology offer hope in cold cases, re-examining old evidence with fresh eyes. DNA analysis and ballistics evidence hold promise, as do new witnesses and fresh perspectives. The hope remains that one day, justice, though delayed, will be served. Jill Dando's memory will be honored with the knowledge that her killer was finally brought to account. And though her life was tragically cut short, Jill Dando's legacy extends far beyond her death. She is remembered as a vibrant, compassionate, and courageous woman who left an indelible mark on journalism and countless lives. Her warmth, infectious laughter, and genuine desire to connect with people left a lasting impression. Jill Dando's legacy is also one of courage. As a journalist, she confronted injustice and gave a voice to the voiceless. Her work on Crime Watch brought comfort to countless victims and their families. Her dedication to her craft and belief in the power of good inspire aspiring journalists. Jill Dando's legacy is one of resilience and the enduring power of the human spirit. Her memory serves as a reminder that kindness, compassion, and courage can endure. Jill Dando's spirit and commitment to making a difference will continue to resonate.